Well, first of all, welcome to all of you. So my name is Dr. Guy Fletcher. I'm the undergraduate teaching director here in philosophy, and you are the most interesting and significant generation of students in a century at least. We're incredibly privileged to teach students generally, but we're incredibly privileged to teach you guys who have been through so much to get here. And secondly, I want to say thank you for choosing to study at Edinburgh and for taking up your place amidst a sea of chaos and terrible things. Okay. So, as I mentioned, I'm the undergraduate teaching director. I'm in charge of the teaching of all philosophy degree programs. The head of department is Dr. Nick Traynor, and then the head of the School of PPLS, which is the kind of greater unit of which philosophy is a part, is Professor Holly Brannigan. Okay, so now I want you to use the chat function to introduce yourselves to each other, and so please share a boring or utterly mundane fact about yourself. Okay, so let's just do that for 2 minutes. So nothing impressive or clever, just something utterly mundane. Okay, so just do that for 2 minutes. Oh, excellent. Someone's got brown eyes. Someone's called Nathan. Someone's drinking a coffee. Someone's got blue eyes. Superb. Right. So good. We've crossed the Rubicon. We're now comfortable using the chat function and sharing mundane facts about ourselves. Excellent. Okay. Now let me see. I might have found the way to get the camera to work. 2 seconds. Okay, keep sharing those mundane facts. Someone here's got a dad. Someone's in a shed. Someone hates cucumbers. Lovely stuff. Right, you've entered into the spirit of that absolutely perfectly. Right. So let's go back to the PowerPoint then. Okay, so here's what I want to do today. So let me make doubly sure that you guys can see this. Sorry, so I'm going to share this again, just to make sure that you guys can definitely see it. Okay. Right, so I'm sharing this. Okay, so what we're going to do today is first I'm going to give you a map of your degree. Then I'm going to explain some terminology that you'll come across. So okay. I'm sharing an application. I'm sharing a window. Right. Okay. So I'm going to explain some of the terminology you'll come across. I'm going to explain some of the help that's available to you, and I'm going to introduce you to the Philosophy Society, some friendly faces from there. Then I'm going to answer questions that you have, and then we're going to do some breakout groups. So I'm going to break you into small groups to get to know each other and get to chat to a philosophy faculty member. If you can't see the PowerPoint, so some of you mentioned that, don't worry, I'll put the PowerPoint up online as well. So if all you can do is listen, then that's great. Okay, so there's a map of your degree here where blue squares denote philosophy courses. So you'll see in year 1 that there are 3 philosophy courses that are kind of necessary courses for almost every philosophy degree that we offer. So PPE is the only exception to this. So unless you're doing PPE, the blue courses in this map, they're the ones that you have to do. And then, so each course is worth 20 credits. That gives you 60. And then that leaves you with 60 credits to find in other subjects. Okay. So in the first semester, you're going to do morality and value. In the second semester, you're going to do great, from Plato to the Enlightenment, and you're going to do logic 1. Okay. So here's some really useful places to go for more information about courses. So there's a handbooks page on the philosophy department website that has the syllabus for every single course offered in semester 1. And you can also go to the course options fair for philosophy and for other subjects. So that has videos that have been made for many of the courses that you can take as your outside subject. Okay. So now I want to explain some terminology that you'll come across. So Edinburgh, like all large universities, has its own sort of language for various things, and getting your head around that is a really helpful part of kind of settling in. So the first thing is that degrees and degree programs, those are things like philosophy or philosophy and psychology. Yeah, that is the degree that you're studying towards, the degree that you chose to study when you chose to come here. Courses are the component parts of your degree. So your degree is therefore made up of courses. They're the subunits. And then tutorials are small group discussion classes. In philosophy, in year 1 and year 2, tutorials begin in week 2, so that you'll have those in 2 weeks' time, and you'll be put into a tutorial group for each course. Then the tutors are the people who teach the tutorials on your course. Okay. And then you also have a personal tutor, where those are actually different, slightly confusingly named, but personal tutors are not the people who run your tutorials. Instead, they're general academic advisors. Okay, so 2 more dry bits of terminology now. The first one, the degree program table. So that's the set of rules about which courses you have to take or can take on a particular degree program. And then DRPS, or the degree regulations and programs of study, is the full set of degree regulations about studying at Edinburgh. So that's like the full master set of rules about everything. Whereas the DPT, which is something that would be useful for you to consult this week, that's the thing that tells you how many credits you have to take in various subjects. Okay, but your first port of call, in terms of help that's available to you, you should look at the Learn page, the Undergraduate Personal Tutor Support and Information Hub. So that's a kind of one-stop shop for lots of different types of help that are available to you. So if you have a question, try that page first and then move on to other sources of support from there. Okay, but what other kinds of help is available to you? Well, there's like purely academic support, and you can get that through faculty office hours. So each faculty member teaching you will have an office hour each week, and you can check the Learn page for the various courses to find out when and how to access that office hour. Okay, so if you're taking morality and value, the faculty members teaching that will, you will be taking morality and value. The faculty members teaching that will have office hours that you can use to discuss issues from the course with them. You can also get academic support through PhilSoc, and you'll hear more from them in a moment. There's also the philosophy website, which has a whole bunch of useful handbooks and guides to things like assessment, feedback, and so on and so forth. So do check that out. There's a lot of really useful information there, and it has things like mark schemes as well. Okay, but another kind of support that you might need at some point is pastoral support. So PPLS has a dedicated team of what's called student support officers, sometimes called SSOs, and they're there to help with personal issues that affect your studies, including things like special circumstance applications. So if a particular issue has affected you while you were doing a particular piece of assessment, degree transfers if you decided to do a different degree program. They can also help with absences, interruptions of study, and withdrawal. And they can also give you information information about and help to access university support services. Okay, there's also career support available to you at the university. So there's the general university career service that can help you think about your future career and help with finding work in the meantime. And there's also the PPLS careers consultant, Rebecca Valentine, who's prepared this helpful set of slides. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to go and look at those slides in your own time. Okay, so I wanted to introduce PhilSoc and to say a few words about the lovely work that they do. So let me just check if there's at least one PhilSocer here. Right. Right.
Hey, Guy, I am here.
Hi, Nathan. So yeah, would you like to say a few words about PhilSoc?
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm sure some of you know me already if you were at the PPLS welcome, or I know some of you guys were at the Meet the Committee event just an hour before this. Hello, Frey. So we are PhilSoc. I'm just going to be very upfront and arrogant here about it. We are one of the oldest philosophy societies in the nation, and I dare I say it, we are the most active society on campus. PhilSoc runs 5 regular events a week. We run a discussion group, a reading group, a book club, a lecture series, and a logic group. In addition to hosting bi-weekly socials, hosting proceedings for students, we run a journal, we run a library, we run Phil Pals as well. There's a whole bunch of other things that we do. Basically, we're super on top of it, we're super awesome, and we are your primary philosophy community. So please join us. Membership is £1 this semester, but all of our events are free as well because we know these are trying and testing times. So hope to see you guys at some of our freshers events. You can check us out at, I'll post a link in here actually. We primarily use Facebook and Discord to communicate. Thanks, Guy.
Thanks very much, Nathan. And just to reinforce something that Nathan said, PhilSoc at Edinburgh really is quite wonderful. So you might think that, well, you know, philosophy societies at all universities are going to be exactly the same, but that's very much not true. Edinburgh's PhilSoc is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, do get involved if you have any interest in doing so. Okay, so let me get back to my slides and just finish those. Right, so here we go. So, right, so the very last thing for me to say is that the university is a large, complicated place, and it can be quite daunting, especially at the beginning. I remember when I first joined Edinburgh, it took me a number of years to get my head around everything. So no one expects you to know everything. No one expects you to kind of be anything other than a little bit lost this week. So, you know, don't worry, don't panic. It's a steep learning curve, but in a few weeks' time, it'll suddenly all seem a lot more familiar and a lot more comprehensible. So I think the most useful thing now I can do is to do Q&A. So if you have any questions now, fire them in the chat. And then in a little while, we're going to break into small breakout groups and you'll be grouped with a faculty member. You can ask them any questions that you have and just get to know a bit about the department. And then I think this event is scheduled to run until 1:30 or 2 officially. But just to say that you don't have to stay until the end. You can leave whenever you want. And I don't think we'll reconvene as a group. So let me say once more, thank you very much for coming here, and we're really honored and privileged to teach you. And fire away with your questions now. Okay, so Helena 2 asked about reading lists. So you get those from the philosophy course guide page. So let me dig out the link for that actually. I need to stop sharing this screen. Hang on. Right. So okay. So let me find the link for the philosophy course guide page. Okay, keep firing away with your questions because I won't do this for every single question, but basically if I get you guys on the philosophy website early on, that's going to save a bunch of hunting around trying to find stuff. Okay. Oops. Oh, that link hasn't worked. That's annoying. Okay. Right, try that link. So Maisie asks about a physical reading list. So we don't produce physical reading lists even in normal times. No, we have the PDFs online, and then people. I'm enough of a dinosaur to prefer a physical reading list, but you guys apparently love everything to be electronic, so that we don't have physical ones. Okay. So Megan asked about not knowing much philosophy and any books or websites to make it seem more familiar. I'd heartily recommend just getting started with the readings from the course guide. So I think that's just the best introduction. And as Nathan mentioned, we really don't assume that people have done philosophy before. In fact, one of my hot takes is that, in fact, it's slightly better not to have done philosophy before. So really you're at no disadvantage at all. And yeah, we really don't presuppose anything. We start right from the beginning. Okay, so it's good to know there's at least one other dinosaur out there. Okay. Right. Anyone have any more questions? Honestly, can't emphasize enough that any question that you have is a question that at least 50 other people have. So Sophie asked about timetables. So yeah, so timetabling has been quite a challenge, as you can imagine, in terms of planning. But your timetables, so for the pre-honors courses, so take morality and value as an example. So the sort of pre-recorded material for that will be released on a particular schedule that will be advertised on the Learn page for that course. And then your tutorial, I think your tutorial time should be visible sometime later this week. So I think that's all being processed right at the moment. Okay. So Emily asks whether you have meetings in real life or whether it's all online. So yeah, so tutorials for morality and value and the other pre-honors courses, they're on for philosophy students, they're on a fortnightly real life versus online rotation. So yeah, you'll have meetings in real life, but your first week might be online, but then the next week will be in real life, as it were. That's a great question, thanks. So Jacqueline asked whether you can switch to philosophy and politics from pure philosophy. Yeah, so in general, that's absolutely possible. And one thing that you can do is if you're studying single honors philosophy at the moment, you can take your outside courses in politics and satisfy the prerequisites for philosophy and politics. And then at the end of your first or second year, then apply to transfer. You could apply to transfer now if you wish. You need to talk to the student support officers about that. So Sheen, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there. So it's only for first years, but new students, if they want to do degree transfers, have to go direct to admissions.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
We can't
Sheen is
have.
very, yeah, you're very gently correcting my misinformation. Thank you very much.
So I've put the link a couple of times in the chat, but any students who are at this meeting just now who are interested in either combining their degree now or a degree transfer altogether, please contact admissions. There's the deadline for making a degree transfer, I think, is the end of week 2, which is still 2.5 weeks away. But I would suggest that if they're interested in doing that they should do that straight away.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sheen. Okay, so Marley asks, is there only a course guide for morality and value? Right, so we have the course guides available for all semester 1 courses. The semester 2 courses, the handbooks for those will be available in a few weeks. Sorry, in a few months. And in semester 1, the only first year courses running is for philosophy is morality and value. So that's why there's only that course guide there. Okay. So what other questions were there? So someone asked how to choose extra courses. So Charlotte asked, how do we choose our extra courses? Yeah, so there's a kind of practical consideration, which is having an alternate route to honors. So if you're doing a single honors degree, then suppose that the worst happened and you didn't want to do philosophy, or you didn't get high enough grades to make it into honors, then it's good to have a kind of backup. So it's good to take your extra courses in some other subject where you could, so you could do honors there. If you're already doing joint honors, then that's not really such an issue. Okay, that's the kind of practical concern. But also you should pick courses that you find interesting, and the university has an enormous panoply of options, and so you need to kind of balance those two considerations. And that's one of the sort of features and exciting, daunting things about being a student, is trying to decide how risk averse to be. Okay. So Sinead asked how work is graded. So if you follow the link from the PowerPoint to the information about assessment, that has loads of information about that, like the mark scheme and so on and so forth. And then the question about whether each essay counts towards your grade at the end of the year, it's kind of reckless for me to answer that because it just depends on how that course works. So basically each course has an assessment profile and it will be specified in the course guide. So the thing to do is to always look at the course guide and see how the assessment works there. Okay. So Sun Singh asks if it's possible to find reading that you need online for students that can't get to Edinburgh at the moment. Yes, so everything that's a required reading should be available online, and the most useful thing to know is that the library search engine, thing called DiscoverEd, is incredibly useful to find your way to DiscoverEd and sort of play around with that and see like just how easy it is to get hold of everything online through there. Pia asked about accessing the PowerPoint that was shown earlier. Yes, I'll put the PowerPoint up along with the recording, absolutely. Okay, so Sheen, you have another hand. Have I misinformed people again, or?
Not at all. I was going to write a very long answer in the chat and then realised, of course, the chat's really, really great because it's really active, but it means the information is going quickly up the screen. And I wanted to respond to Izzy. So she was asking about choosing courses and finishing matriculation process. So the process for that this year is all online. So you do that through the Learn page on the undergraduate Personal Tutor Support and Information Hub, otherwise known as the Student Hub. You will find the link to the course options fair there, the videos relating to the courses within the School of Philosophy, Psychology, Language Science, and there's an online form there that you complete with your course choices and you submit it to the teaching office, and you also need to confirm your attendance. So the forms to do that, it's all a digital process, are all within the Student Hub on Learn. You don't need to meet, your personal tutor does not complete the matriculation or enroll you on your courses, it's done by the teaching office. If you don't have to meet with your personal tutor to complete your choices, you can do them as soon as you're ready. And I would really recommend that on the Learn Hub, there are discussion boards, and the discussion boards are looked after by your philosophy academics. And if you put questions there about your course options and any questions about what you're thinking, they can be answered really quickly there. And that should mean that you can get your course choices in sooner rather than later. You certainly don't need to wait until you've met with your personal tutor. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheen. Okay, so I think let's go into the breakout groups, but let me add just finally before that, yeah, as Sheen mentioned, there is the discussion board on that Learn page, the sort of information hub. Asking questions there is by far the most useful thing because then everyone else gets to enjoy the benefits of your labor and see the answer. But also feel free to ask your faculty member that you are in a breakout group with. So now the moderators are going to perform the Herculean task of breaking us into small groups. I'm not quite sure how long that takes, but let's...
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, thank you, Celine.
Hi, this is Celine Lavelle. I'm moderating the session just now. And I'm going to put everyone in breakout groups in just a second. But before I do that, I just need to do a little bit of admin and ask all faculty members who are here to put their hands up, just so I can make sure I've got you all as moderators. Okay, that's perfect. Great. All right, everyone. So what happens is with the breakout rooms, that I'll put you in breakout rooms. It's a bit weird because you're going to get kind of zoomed out of this and suddenly put into a group with a bunch of random people. Guy, what do you want to do when the time is up for breakout room discussions?
So So this session officially can last until 1:30, and I have no sense of people's appetite for the breakout groups. So I think we should, rather than reconvene at some future point, we should just kind of end the whole group bit now and then do the small group bits, and then people can just leave the small group when they're finished.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to break everyone into their groups, and then, as Guy said, when you're done, just poodle out. So in a minute, you're going to get zoomed out of this main room. You're going to get put in a group with a bunch of students, and then a couple of minutes later, a member of faculty is going to join you, and that member of faculty can chat to you. So I'm going to do that now. Once you're in your group, introduce yourselves, maybe say a little bit about why you want to study philosophy at Edinburgh, and just talk among yourselves, and a faculty member will be joining you presently.